Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to learn how the streaming happens using the LangChain framework, and we will try to see how we can stream an output from an LLM and how we can view it. So let's start with importing some of the things like Zord so that we have a structured output. Since we are going to make a tool calls, we are going to utilize in this way. So create agent and then tool because we are going to use a tool call, and then we are going to use the LangChain, the main supporter for. So get weather is the tool call that we are going to make. We are going to write it as a tool, and we are going to write whatever the city comes in, and I'm going to make a fetch call. So the fetch call is, we can easily make the fetch call like const get weather tool, or fetch weather. I would just write async. It will take the city name, try catch, console.log, error in fetching weather through API, and we'll just put the error, throw new error and error from here. Now we are also going to make a fetch call. So let's define the URL. So let URL is equals to, or const URL is equals to, I will just take a URL that we have already done before. So I'm going to take this URL and the weather API. So let me just take both of these things and we'll try calling it up. So we have two things right now on the table. One is a const weather API key that we have already configured in the previous thing. So if you have not seen that, you can take a reference from the previous playlist, previous videos in the playlist. And now we are going to get the weather API URL we have defined. So this is from weather API. We are getting the weather API and the city name. Now I'm going to get the data. So response is equals to await fetch call we are going to make, fetch call with the URL, and then once that is done, we are going to return await rest.json. So this will return the fetch weather. So I'm just going to write fetch weather and it will get the city name. Also, we need to define the schema. So whatever the schema that comes out of it, we need to define it. So name as the function is get weather, and description get the weather for a given city. Then schema we have to define. The schema has to be object. So we are going to return it in object format. This is going to get an object which will have a city that will be utilized in the fetch call. So it will get a city which will be fetched in the weather, and weather is going to call the API to get the data. So this has to be z.strip so that we don't get any kind of error. Sorry, z.string. So we'll pass the city name as the string. And now we are going to create an agent. So agent is equals to create agent. And here you pass the model name. So model has to be, I will just take it from previous references because it's process.env. I'm going to copy this stuff. So it has to be model process.env.openai model name and the get weather. Once we get that weather, we are going to use an async function. So async function to call the stream. So async function get stream, generate stream response. Let's define it in such a way. And now we are going to make this call with a try catch. Let's see. So console.log error for now. Also, secondly, we are going to make a generate stream response. So generate stream response should be mm, so it has to be for await. Since we are going to await for the stream, we are going to get chunk. And when we are trying to uh, invoke this agent, when we are trying to invoke this agent, or since invoke will return an answer, let's stream the response. So when we are trying to stream it, in that case, we are going to get the content. So role, the user, content, what is the weather in Bangalore. Once we do it, we can just define the stream mode. So there are different kinds of stream mode possible, which are updates, custom, as well as the messages. We are going to start with updates. So what happens in an updates format when you're streaming in updates? In that case, you are going to get each and every step in one after the other. And if you want to get the complete stream, you need to use messages. So we are going to get the step, we are going to get the content and object dot entries, sorry, dot entries. And here in you pass the chunk. We will get the first chunk. We'll try to get the first chunk. And we are going to do a console.log of step, whatever the step occurred, as well as we are going to do the same for the content. So this content has to be JSON.stringified so that we get proper formatted result content, and replacer null, and spaces is 2 so that we get in a proper structured way. Okay, let's try to see this output. Before that, we need to invoke this function. And let's try to see it. So node streaming stream. So model is required. Okay, I think we missed out on the model. So let's see when we are creating an agent. Okay, model is required because we have not utilized .env, so it is not able to populate properly. Let's use the .env .config, and now we'll again call it. So it will call one after the other. Every step will be called. See, you are getting stream response one after the other. So try to call no matching location found. Okay, just trying to call one after the other. Let's see. So it is streaming after every step. If you just see, it is trying to stream after every step. It started with this and still streaming. And we'll see what type of weather location was passed in. So get weather was called. Yeah, I am having trouble retrieving the current location for Bangalore right now. Okay. So it is not able to take the Bangalore location. Let's see why that might have happened. We'll try to see. Okay. So we'll try seeing whether the city was correctly interpreted or not. Whether we got the proper city name or not. So I will just try to do a console.log of city just to check whether the city was coming correctly or not. If we got the city correctly, that means half of the task was done and it was not able to understand the city. So city came as Bangalore, that's fine. Okay, so it was getting the city, but it has to be taken from the arguments. It has to be taken from the argument. So it has to be city.city. Or response, you can do it like this. This also works. So it has to be city.city. And let's try to see the response now. Yeah, we got the Bangalore location, and now it will try to give us an answer. So it is doing streaming step by step. If you just see, now it will try to generate an answer on the weather details. So first it called the query, it tried to call the model, it tried to call the Bangalore location, it tried to call the city, and then it returned the result. Current Bangalore is this much. So we got the results, and it was good. It was working perfectly fine. This was the updates part. I will just explain you the code. So in this code, we just try to call the get generate stream response. When we go inside this function, we were trying to call await, because we are going to, when we are streaming it, we are using await. We are going to get the chunks, but we have to wait for each and every chunk. So to get the response, this is what we were doing. And the other things were same. We provide the model, we provide the get weather, take the fetch weather to call the API to get the results. And get weather function just took a schema so that it can get the particular details. So this was it for the updates part. And if you want to perform the same thing with messages, you can just put up a messages so that you get complete streamable response. But it is going to be very fast, and we need to collect all the responses together to see the message. Right now, you're going to see only the small chunks. So if you just see, it will come very quickly, chunks one after the other. These are the chunks. If you just see the response, see, this is the response that it has created. And if you just see here, this dot is one of the content. Outlook is one of the content. Weekly is one of the chunk. One of the, so it is generating token by token. We need to collect all these tokens to see a complete response. So this was it for the streaming part. In the streaming, we saw how we can utilize the update state, how we can use the messages state to get an answer. Update state will collectively give us an answer for each and every step. Messages, in the other hand, will provide each and every chunk of messages along with the steps. So this was it for the streaming part. We'll see in the next video. So do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to these videos. And if you're loving it, just put down a comment what is the best part of the video.